Hey everybody, it's Besties on the Deck. This is Tish.
And this is Blossom.
We have a special guest today. Today we have Brian. This is my daddy. And today he is going to share his story with us. Be prepared for some laughs, for some possibly crying
He
until
may be
you
the
pee your
only sane
pants.
person left in California.
It's going to be interesting, y'all. So there may be even information that I haven't even heard yet. So this is going to be really cool. Blossom did want to share something first, though.
Yes, so we get to hear Tish's great daddy and some things from him, and I just want everybody to know that if my dad was still here, we would totally be interviewing him too. Because
Yes.
he was a very wise, amazing, wonderful daddy, and anytime I ever got to brag on my daddy, it would make me happy. And so we weren't doing this show back when Daddy was still here, and because it's only been a few months since he passed. I just know that he would have made a great guest too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we are going to start having some more guest appearances, as this is our first one. So no judgment, y'all. This is going to be a learning experience. So introduce yourself, Dad.
Hi, I'm Brian. I'm a Capricorn, I'm 2 and gorgeous, and I don't have an attitude.
Love it. Love it. So
No, I'm just me. Just me.
I gotcha. So obviously I'm your favorite kid, but we'll never tell anybody else. But
Wow.
So in our family, we have a blended family, and I have in our original group, I am the baby, and in our extended group, I am the second oldest. So it's kind of nice being the older sister now. But it's also a very big responsibility. So I try to do my best. But Dad, what would you say to start off with is probably one of your best memories? If you could pick a couple.
What? Obviously, all of my children being born was a highlight of my life.
Oh, that's a given. 87 was the best year because that's when I was born.
Oh, gee, don't, let's not get a trophy now, or
I'm just playing.
you know you are. Let's see. One of them was opening day, Little League, West Barstow. Oh, yeah, it don't matter. West Barstow, Little League. My mom was working the concession stand. It was opening day, and she popped her head out of the concession stand and yelled over, "Brian, hit me a home run." And the catcher on the other team said, "Yeah, Brian, hit her a home run." Well, needless to say, that's all it took. Put one fence about the level of the lights of the field.
Oh, wow.
That was a good day. That was a really good day.
Oh my gosh, how awesome.
I was so pissed off. Man. So anyways, both of my marriages were great days. Like I said, my whole thing was my kids. I think having my kids, and I was there for all of them. 2 came out of the fun factory of life, and 2 were surgically removed. While me and the doctor, Margaret, your stepmom, or your second mom, was being cut open at her pelvis area, we're talking about Harley Davidson parts and what we had just put on our bikes. So you can just imagine how Margaret was, hello, I'm still here.
Well, what else would you say was a good memory?
Oh, jeez.
It's hard to pinpoint.
Well,
I
let's
know.
see.
Put you on the spot.
People being added to the family.
Yes.
Amber, Wesley, Tyler Foray,
Yeah.
Harley has a young man that she's really, I mean, they're engaged. Yeah. Still waiting on John to put the old ring on somebody's finger, but he's taking his time.
Wants to make sure.
Yeah, he got his heart broke the first serious one, and he just kind of a little getting in the water. But anyway, all my grandkids, all of my everybody that came in and added to the family was all highlights of my life.
Yeah.
And blessings, and I guess here's a curveball for you. I guess one of the other big blessings was finally woke up and discovered sobriety.
Yeah.
And that was yeah. I guess we'll talk about that in a little bit. But back to the highlights. I just, I mean, I've had a lot of good days. I know it sounds shallow, but went to Vegas and won a little bit of money. I hit $10,000 on a dollar slot machine, which was a good day.
Yeah.
For 10,000 reasons.
Yeah.
I won't count the other 35 times I lost $2 or $3 grand. But anyways, you know.
That's how they get you.
Right. My dad. My mom's always been the rock of the family, and my dad's always been my hero.
Yeah.
And like going back to the Little League days, he was one of my coaches. And we were playing a team that arrogant, no sportsmanship, just a bunch of jerks. And one of the coaches from the team came out of the dugout after they called I can't remember the play, but I remember exactly what my dad did. They were yelling across the field at each other, and the coach from the other team grabbed a baseball bat and started coming out towards the field. And my dad had to be restrained from, 4 or 5 parents yelling back at him, "You better grab something bigger than that."
Now.
And just the way he stood up for me,
Yeah.
It made me feel proud that, I mean, he's my dad, of course, but just to watch all of that and go, "Dang, that man's got my back."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just made me feel, I don't know how to describe it. It just made me feel like,
Proud.
My dad's bigger than your dad.
Now, when
my dad was out with nothing in his hand. He was telling the guy, "You better
he
grab
didn't need
something."
it.
He didn't know. Heck no, you didn't need it. My dad, when he was working, he's about 5'10", and weighed, 280, 290, and he just didn't have a neck.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, his nickname at work was the Fire Plug.
The fire plug.
How did he get that?
Because he
You
has
run your
no
car to the
neck.
fire-
Oh, I
That's
get
your
it.
car up, right?
How funny. You know what? Maybe
I haven't heard a lot of this stuff.
maybe my kids definitely got Grandpa's neck, because when they were born, they had no necks. It was head and shoulders.
Head,
Kids
shoulders,
was
Knees
on
and
that
toes. Oh, go ahead, Dad. Continue.
I don't know. How much more you want me to go on the good days?
I think you've got quite a bit in there.
Yeah, I got sober and got away from the people I was hanging around. I realized that I was a father and a husband and needed to man up and do what I'm supposed to be doing instead of doing what I thought I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, anyways, what else you got?
All right. So, what is the biggest lesson life has taught you through everything you've been through?
Wow. Uh, don't take your eyes off the Lord,
Amen.
and love and trust your family.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking. I'm going to piss a bunch of people off if I say this. Your mate for life, your husband or your wife, you should have 100% trust in.
Yeah.
Your kids, they'll throw you a curveball once in a while, but you still love them, and you try and show them that's probably not the way you need to be going.
Mm-hmm.
Always be able to talk. When communication stops, that's when things get out of control.
Yeah.
What was it?
You were going good. So I do. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What I was gonna say was, I do very much agree with what you said. Your family's everything, and your spouse is the one it's your person. It's the one in your corner. It's the one you depend on and rely on for, being there for you no matter what the circumstances are. And
It has to be.
yeah, my bonus mom, Miss Margaret, she has done an amazing job, taking care of my dad, and he's been through just some hellacious things with surgeries and medical problems, and she's been there through the thick and thin of everything, and has taken the grunt of a lot of things, and she's taken the back end of a lot of things, because of other people's opinions, or how they think things should be handled. But until you're in that position, you really don't have a say. So it takes a lot, and I definitely have a lot of respect for her for what she does to take care of you. So it's greatly appreciated, and she's very much loved and cared for. But and my brother and sister that I got to gain, and my other sister, when you guys first got married, I gained another bonus sister, and she was a couple of years younger than me, and she kind of wanted to follow me around everywhere and be with me because I was older, and I got to do a little more things than she did because of the age gap. But it was nice to have someone looking up to you, but then you're also kind of like, oh dang, I got to be good because somebody's looking up to me.
Pressure.
Yes, and same with John and Harley, and I always try to make sure I check in on them and see how they're doing, and give them praise because they're adulting. They're learning the reality of life right now, and
There's not enough Prozac and prayer in the
there's
world.
really not. And with them being in Southern California, there really is not enough Prozac and prayer. But I'm very blessed for the family that we have gained through the years, for sure.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So
I never thought that was going to be my future.
Yeah.
I just strange how things work out and how you run into people and changes the course of your life. It just it's just amazing how God works.
yeah, and then the way that he
Orchestrates everything.
everything, and he only allows certain people in your life for a season.
That's something that I learned, was that I learned from someone that I can consider a mentor, is people come in and out of your life, and some are like scaffolding. So when you're building something, you have to have scaffolding to reach certain points. And then after it's served its purpose, you do away with it. It doesn't stay there with the building forever.
Yeah.
And so some people come into your life and they're there for a season, they have a purpose, but then there's no need for them and it's time for them to go.
Yep, they filled their purpose and
Yeah.
they're no longer needed. Yeah.
That's what she said that because doing the Boilermaker stuff, that's just every job we've ever been on. We've always had to have scaffolding to get to the work we needed to do. Either that
What has been your favorite job that you've ever had? Because, like when you first start working, like you work at a grocery store or stuff like that, like anything that you did when you were younger that stands out?
Not young, well, working with my grandfather when I was, 12, 13, 14. I worked in his butcher shop.
Oh, cool.
He was teaching me how to do the cuts of meat, and I did a lot of
That's so cool.
it's you take the meat off the bone areas that aren't going to be used in a steak or a loin, anything that's not going to be cut with a bandsaw. They put that into the hamburger, and a lot of it is stuck to a bone. You have to take a knife and you have to remove it from the bone, and I would do that, and then I would do the hamburger. When we did hogs, we did. My grandfather his smoked hams and bacon people were leaving the companies that they were normally big corporation stuff, and my grandfather was a one-man business. Well, he had the family working with him, but he was the only man that went out on the kill rig and dropped the animals and cleaned them, cut them in half, put them on the truck, and brought them back to the freezer, and then they would hang for so many days to let the blood drop out, and then we would bring quarters in or halves, and he would put them on the butcher block, and he would cut the halves in quarters, and then throw a piece on the hook, and then throw another piece up on the bench and start making all the cuts to get your steaks and your ribs and your, remove all the fat and the gristle.
That's so
And-
tedious.
I'm so hungry.
Oh, it was cool, but see, the whole thing was, I guess when I was 12, he would probably be in his late 50s, maybe early 60s, and he was looking to build a business to pass on to my father. And Dad didn't want anything to do with it. That wasn't his thing. And we were, like I said, I was 12, 13. My sister was a year and a half older than me, well, a year and a couple months older than me. And she would do the wrapping and stamping all the different names of the cuts on the packages. Once they were all cut, they would be in stacks, and then you had to take it's bone dust from the bandsaw, and you have to use a 3-bladed scraper, and you scrape all the individual pieces to get the bone dust off, it's greasy. It's not dust, it's greasy. And you remove that, and then you pass that package on to the next person in line, which they did a wax wrap so the meat didn't stick to each other and that it didn't stick to the package. And then that went to the next station, which my mom would do. She would do the final wrap and tape it up, and then Lori would be at the end of the table, my sister, and she would, okay, this is hamburger, this is a round steak, this is a sirloin, or whatever, and she would stamp the names of the cuts of meat, put it in a shopping cart, and then once it was full, we would roll the shopping cart into another freezer, and it would until the customer would come and pick it up.
No.
But anyways, my grandfather was building his business. He was taking business away from 2 local butcher shops, and he even got a visit by one of the owners of the other places going, why are you charging this when you could be charging this? And my grandfather was always, listen, I'm making an honest living. This is the price I feel is fair. This is how I'm going to run my business.
Yeah.
Basically, if you got a problem with it, you need to take your problem and hit the road.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather had so much business that he couldn't keep up with it. So he trying to get my dad to say, do you want to be part of this? I wish to this day that I would have said, yes, Grandpa, I want to learn everything. I would have a successful business that he had already developed and had clientele.
Right.
But, and then the thing happened with the water out. I don't get into details, but the whole the whole area changed. So
Yeah.
I mean, it probably would have been different. But
Yeah.
anyway, he asked me when I was 14, grandson, do you want to learn the business and take it over when I retire? And 14 years old, being offered that, I just like, not really, Grandpa. I know it hurt his feelings,
Right.
and he was disappointed, but I kind of wish I would have stayed with it.
Yeah, that seems like something really neat to be able to get involved in and learn. I'm sure
Yeah, I
it's so
don't-
tedious.
Yeah, I don't think your average 12, 13-year-old is going to have that opportunity. And then he had an alfalfa field next to his ranch, so we were always, out loading hay and
Yeah.
feed cows and stuff like that. So it was a fun upbringing, but it was hard work. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you a question. So, with everything the way it is in today's world, kids are constantly on electronics and things like that. Do you wish that they had all this kind of stuff when you were growing up, or do you feel like
You had the better
kids
childhood.
nowadays are getting the short end of the stick because they're missing out on so much because they're not as exposed to things like playing outside and stuff as we were? I mean, like, would you want to be a kid in today's world, or do you think you had it better when you grew up?
No, I would not want to be a kid nowadays. They're so inundated with technology and separation from just socializing. It's not just your family, but it's how to interact with society.
Yeah.
If you're down in your phone, you're not talking to anybody, you're not meeting anybody, you're not developing relationships, and they're missing out on so much. I wouldn't trade my childhood for nothing. When I was growing up, my first there was another happy day. I think I was 12, and my dad brought home a brand new XR75 Honda motorcycle for me. And I remember the first night he pulled it off the back of the truck, and he started it up, and I sat on the gas tank with my legs over the handlebars, and he was sitting on it. And my dad, I'll tell you what, he didn't fit on that bike, but we both survived that little ride that night. But he drove me down probably a quarter mile and back to the house, and that bike, it did all of 50, 55 miles an hour, I think was his top speed, 53, something like that. And to me, it was like a rocket ship.
Oh, yeah.
Up to that point was a bicycle. And that was an amazing day. But being a kid then and being a kid now, it's like two different realities. It's like this generation I feel bad for, because they're missing out on so much, and they're developing unsocial personalities, which it doesn't blend with anything other than themselves. And that's not healthy. That's not a good thing.
No.
Great, we can shoot laser beams off the moon and tell how far away it is, but technology to put in a little kid's hand with a phone or an iPad or whatever, you just remove them from your family and put them in the screen of that device.
Yeah.
That's their world. Yeah. And it's sad to see. Even if you go sit down in a restaurant and watch the people having dinner, their faces are all in a phone.
Yeah.
While they're having dinner at a table, the same table. It's like, I don't know where our society's going, but it's kind of spooky.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Blossom, did you have another question?
What's your favorite job you've ever had? See, I've had 87 jobs. So I've had 87. I've had plenty to choose from, but like most people only work 3 or 4.
I have done a lot of different jobs until I finally settled down with my personal life and realized I needed to get serious. Like I said, I did the butcher shop. I did AM, PM cashier until I had a guy put a gun in my face and tell me to give me everything in the register.
Oh, God.
And I worked at a radiator shop. I worked at welding mufflers in at the radiator shop. I did mechanic garage, Larry's garage. I did Streamlight West was a factory that made the flashlights for the CHP.
Oh, uh-huh.
The big long ones they use for a club when they're not cooperating with them. I did that job, was kind of fun. I did worked out in the solar field, I did the surveyor. I was a surveyor on that job.
Now, was that the solar field out?
4 corners.
Okay, 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I didn't know you worked out there, too.
Oh, yeah. You bet I did.
That's crazy. Y'all, this is a field of solar panels. It's insane looking.
It ain't small.
No. That's cool. Go ahead, continue.
The next real job that I took serious was when I worked for General Electric, working on the rail cars
Mm-hmm.
out there at the plant.
Now
And
that
we took care of a fleet of 450 leased rail cars to the company.
Mm-hmm.
We also did subcontracting. We had trucks, so we would go out to different companies, and if they had an issue with their rail car, we would go fix it for them. And I've, traveled all over Santa Ana, Los Angeles, Tehachapi, cement plants, Riverside Cement there in Victorville.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool job. And then they basically closed up shop back in the time I was there.
Yeah.
And I took a little bit of a break. And then the next job was RS&R Steel. We're building beams and columns for steel frame buildings.
Mm-hmm.
There for a minute, and then I met my buddy. And he said, you know how to weld, you ought out to the Union Hall. They're needed guys, and they're selling books right now. In other words, if you had 5 years experience out in the field, you could go in and give them $500, and you would buy a spot on the book instead of going through the 5-year apprenticeship. And,
okay.
Yeah, you kind of bypass the apprenticeship because you already have been doing that kind of work in another company or another place.
You already have the experience, right?
Yeah, I had every kind of welding certification there was, but when I went down there, I said, I hear you guys are looking for some men. I said, my buddy so-and-so sent me down there. And he said, oh, you know him? Yeah, his family's tight in the union, blah, blah, blah. Come in and welding shop and show us, what you can do with welding. So, yeah, they wanted me to do a 3-position with inner shield wire, dual shield wire, and stick. And I did all 3 of them, and I remember the guy was running the shop. He came in and he looked at all of it and goes, well, hell, son, you know how to weld, don't you? And I said, well, that's what I was trying to show you guys. He brought me in the office, and we sat and we talked for about 10 minutes. He goes, tell me some of the other stuff you've been doing. And I told him about, if they derailed a rail car that was loaded, we would go out and we would, once they suctioned all the product off the ground, we would get the crane set up and we would set the rail car back up on the trucks and back on the track, and then roll it into the hospital track, and that's where we do all the repairs. So it's kind of the extent of my rigging, and working with a crane. And he said, oh, hell, he said, I think you'll do just fine.
that is a wrap for episode 13, part 1.
Stay tuned for part 2.